Okay.
Should be pretty good.
Okay, we'll get this posted in the morning.
Great. Thank you.
How do you like your new iPad?
I like it. I'm looking forward to that. But you're liking it too, huh?
It doesn't matter to me.
No, that keyboard would be awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to use without, you know.
I know. Shoot, you know what? I meant to bring, so I have an iPad and I have this little stand for it that I use when I FaceTime with my granddaughter. And I meant to bring it in tonight so we could use it.
that's
oh,
okay.
yeah, I didn't have anything here. That would have
All right,
been
is
good.
Andy on?
Yep, he's there.
All right, I want to call the March 7th, 2022 meeting to order. First order of business, as always, is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next order of business is the approval of minutes from 3 meetings. The first would be the regular session of February the 23rd. Second vote, yes.
Yes.
Next would be approval of the minutes for February, the special session minutes of February the 28th.
I'll make that
Second
motion.
vote,
Yes.
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 And then the last would be the approval of the special session on March the 4th of 2022. I'll make that motion. Second,
Oh, no. Sorry, Andy. If you're not here, it just kind of gets out of sequence. I
Oh,
apologize.
I know. Yes.
vote.
Yes.
Yes. Public comment period. First up, we have our sheriff liaison in attendance tonight. The floor is yours.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for having me back. Like I said, I'm sorry that I can't make every meeting. But basically just want to talk about our citizens. Gabby, if you have any residents that are interested, starts the 7th of April. We'll stop taking applications. Like I said, I apologize again for not getting you guys the information sooner. Just one more thing. I just want to, well, actually one of two more things I just want to touch on real quick. Any residents that, and I know you have your police department, I'm not trying to step on chief's toes, but if, you know, they're busy, if anyone going to go on vacation and they want to put their house on the house watch list, they can contact the Sheriff's Office Records Division, call them, give them their address, and then they'll be put on a list, sent out to the deputies on patrol, and they'll check the local areas. And then the only other thing we're seeing really heavy, and I think I touched on it before, is the catalytic converter thefts. It's actually creeping up into Dublin. I know Dublin's looking for a suspect out of a couple of thefts from there. So my biggest tip is if you can park your vehicle in the garage, put it in the garage. If not, try to put it in the well-lit area, and maybe in front of your cameras. So try not to leave anybody within the car. So other than that, you guys don't have anything for me. I think that's pretty much my spiel. So
Is it true that I know 2 people have got those and they have SUVs and they've told SUVs are easier targets because it's easier to get underneath? And
it wouldn't surprise you. A lot of your SUVs will have 2 catalytic converters. I know we had a situation where one of the owners of one of the buy here pay here's down on West Broad Street had a guy come in and pay him $500 for just a beat up truck. It was like an F350 or 3,500. It's not, I can't remember exact truck. Had 2 catalytic converters on it. He cut the catalytic converters off, threw the deed or the title back to the owner. Was like, I don't want it anymore. Walked out because he's gonna go get about $1,000 per converter.
Geez.
Yeah. So he just made $1,500. But yeah, so it's I mean, big business. So it's obviously we're seeing a lot. And now they're starting to hit the car dealerships too. A lot of your buy your payers that don't have, you know, high-end security cameras.
Right.
There's someone there all the time. So yeah.
Well, we appreciate the update. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Continuing on with public comment period. Anything from Brookside?
Do we know when Brookside's Easter? They have
I don't know.
a egg hunt.
Worthington Hills.
Worthing Hills has their meeting on this Wednesday evening. There's one thing on the list that we probably haven't addressed. I know we're going to be buying trees for Earth Day for the 4th and 5th graders for both Brookside and Worthing Hills, but Worthing Hills Elementary has their 50th anniversary for their school, kind of a big thing. I just became aware of it, should have been aware sooner, I guess, but we've been batting around ideas of how we can partake or be a participant in their 50th anniversary, so we may have something coming up in the next agenda.
Hey, Jim, not to interrupt, but hey, Beth, Joe just texted me. He's trying to get into the meeting. Do you see him in the lobby?
Oh, there they are. Thanks. Okay. Sorry, thanks for letting me know, Andy. I couldn't see him
Yep.
on the regular
Yep.
screen. So.
Hey, Michelle, can you hear us? You're on mute. Michelle Elliott.
Double mute. I'm here.
Hey, we just, you just missed I'm sorry we didn't let you in the approval of the minutes. We were just going through the public comment period. Anything from Brookside? I think Chet was wondering, do you guys have your Easter egg hunt scheduled?
We do have it scheduled. It's a little bit off because of conflicts at the school. It is on, sorry. Saturday, April 9th from 10 to 12.
Anything else from Brookside? As far as
We
public
will
comment?
also be partnering with Sunny 95 to host a block party at the school. And Chief Cicero, if you're there, I will give you more detail as we move forward, but it is officially confirmed that they will allow us to hold it at the school. I don't know if you recall, we did one years ago, I think back in 2014. So that will be on Tuesday, June 14th.
Anything else, Michelle?
Nope, that's it.
Epcot and Robello?
I think we were today that they're going to have the neighbors night out in August. We'll be working with them, and I still think that this month they're supposed to have a community meeting or something.
Yeah, last I talked to Lacey, they hadn't picked a time
Yeah,
yet.
pick a time. Okay. And is there anything we're doing with the parking?
We have a resolution tonight for the no parking. I'm working on, the signs were installed, the new speed limit signs. No parking signs installed. We had an issue, one of the residents doesn't like the height of the speed limit sign. I'm working on moving that back to see if it would be less visible from their patio.
Zoning. Old business.
Attachment.
Okay, I wasn't sure if Andy had something to say. Yeah, we have, we received notification, the ordinance that Mr. McCabe's property on 161 is now officially back in the township. That's the property just to the east of State Farm. Chet and I met on Saturday with 2 more residents who have the option of coming back into the township, and they both signed the detachment petition. Chief Cicero had one of the officers take that down to the Planning Commission. So that should be going through the process within the next 2 to 4 weeks. And actually, and we have one more resident on Snowford, but we need to verify acreage, and then that can gone down, which only leaves us 2 other residences on our list of possible detachments. And that part of it's completed after that, so. But the deadline to turn everything in is March 22nd, so we're getting down there.
Anything else?
Shaking hands and kissing neighbors.
Anything else under zoning?
No, sir.
Is Joe on yet?
Here it is.
I am.
You're up, sir.
Okay, on the question about the EPCON TIF, reached out and Pete indicated that he's continuing to follow up. He said he did send the letter out, or at least an email, to the attorneys for Romanelli and EPCON, and has not heard anything back from them. He is still waiting to hear. He sent a follow-up today to the previous email chain. I will tell you that I think this is getting a little old, that it's been, I think we're coming up on close to 2 years and haven't seen anything. So I'll leave it all to you. Real quick before I'm on the McCabe property, they reached out to us about signage. John and I have been in touch with them about the requirements that we have and the ordinances that they're going to fall under now that they're in the township. So they should be on their way with getting that filed and getting it into us, as they never got their signs approved through the city of Columbus. So with that.
Hey, Joe, the only question I have is on that TIF, was it an signed agreement, or was it just an understanding? I'm trying to remember how we after fist pounding and yelling and screaming,
I believe it's a memorandum of understanding. They reached out to us, I want to say 5-6 months ago, and asked if they could just convert it to the phase 2. We indicated that there was we didn't see a reason why to convert it just to phase 2. We wanted phase 1 and phase 2 to be included in that. We got no response to that. And so I believe it's a memorandum of understanding that states what it is that we were willing to consider.
So consider. So does an MOU legally bind us for anything?
Andy, I'm not an attorney. I don't believe, in my world, it typically doesn't. I think it binds us to good faith. And I think that given the time period we've had and the requests that we've made to them, I think we've shown our good faith, but I'll leave it all to you.
So do we have a copy? I was trying to find it in my files, but I can't. I have an email about the execution of the pre-detachment agreement, but I don't have the MOU that I can find. Did we perhaps give ourselves an out clause or some sort of?
There is an attorney. There is an attorney. I'm looking at one right now. There's an attorney.
He's looking around. That's a lovely sign that you helped design, by the way.
Sorry, Beth.
I don't know the answer to that.
I have a copy of it. I can pull it tomorrow and scan it and send it to everybody so you can review it.
I have it. The answer is a memorandum of understanding is non-binding. Okay, it is that 2 parties have made good faith thoughts as to what they're willing to do, and I think we've adhered to that. I'm not recommending that we not go ahead. I'm just recommending that we tend to get a little bit more forceful, is if we're going to do this, let's do it. If we're not going to do it, let's not do it. But we keep waiting and we keep giving updates, and we're not getting anything from them. And Pete doesn't appear to be getting anything from them other than the name of the attorney that's supposed to be working on the development agreement.
Well, I guess the question that I have is, do we want, I I guess where I'm at is I don't want this thing to be a surprise, you know, like, okay, it's been out there, like Joe, you said it's 2 years, whatever. It's like, if we're gonna do this, let's do it. So do we put a time frame? I mean, and I guess that's the other question that I have is, do we, you know, because it's going to be some effort to manage it. There's a lot of things that we got to do. I mean, if they're not interested or something has happened that they're not willing to, you know, to do it, then should we just say, hey, if we don't hear anything back from you by, you know, May 1st, that we're going to assume that you don't want to pursue it, and we're going to close, you know, the memorandum of understanding is no longer, you know, valid. I'm just saying, it's like we're at that point. They've had 2 years to put this thing together, and so I don't know how everybody else feels.
I will say, I'm sorry, I will say, I'm estimating it's between 1.5 years and 2 years. I'm not going to say it's flat up in 2 years.
When was
Well,
the
I
time?
think it was signed December 2020, right? I think the email that I have says it was just signed 12/1/20.
So
So,
we're a little over a year, right?
Right, I think so.
Like a year
Like I
and-
said, I
year
can
and
pull
3
it and find
months.
out.
Neither here nor there. I think it's time that we get a little more forceful, maybe put a dead. If our attorney views this as a viable pathway, that we give a deadline to them. I think deadlines sometimes get people to get their ass in gear.
Yep.
Excuse my language.
If the board believes that's the path, I will be happy to discuss a reasonable timeline with Pete Griggs and ask him to put them on official notice with a reasonable time for delivery and moving the project forward.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Development Director?
No, sir, I'm open for any questions anybody may have on any other issues.
Any questions by anybody? Hearing none, Road Department.
Tonight under old business, the Worthington Hills Drainage Project. I don't have an update on that. I've reached out to Jim Ramsey several times, trying to set up a meeting. I will get that information sent to everybody as soon as I have it. Under new business, we've got an area, building 2, above the mechanical room, that's got a pretty good hole in the ceiling. Water's been leaking there for a little while. It gets worse with the snow. My fear is if we let it go, the electrical panels for that building are real close to where this leak is at. There's quite a few other issues that were not taken care of at this time. During the snow, we had some, like all the buildings, had some areas where the nails were kind of exposed in the seams of the shingles. So with that ice, the water didn't have anywhere to go but in on the roofs. So I'm asking tonight to contract Newman Roofing at a cost of $9,946 to repair the section of roof over mechanical room.
So, Ian, how much square footage is that?
The area they're fixing is the valley. They're gonna try to use 3 sheets of 4x8 plywood, come down the eaves, I guess, the valley. I wouldn't say it's much more than 150, 200.
But they're replacing all the way down to, I mean, they're ripping it all off and re-putting plywood down in the whole kit caboodle.
Quite a bit, yes. He thinks this will fix it. We had this fixed there 2 years ago. They did a minor repair, trying to take care of it. It's really not put together right, the way it's built right there. They wouldn't guarantee the work from 2 years ago when they were here. Because we were just trying to get it by until we figured out his facility stuff. he's kind of the same way, but he thinks he can do a much better job by taking off quite a bit of it, reworking that wood down the valley. The
Okay,
area where
thanks.
the work is in the picture. I don't know if you can see it on in the Dropbox. There was a picture of the roof there.
I just texted it to you, Andy, too.
Okay. Okay, no, I appreciate that. I was just wondering, so.
The roofs, when they were installed 17, 18 years ago, were installed with no snow guard, ice guard underneath the shingles. I guess it's a way to seal up the nail holes as they're going through the roof, the plywood. That was never there. That's why we're having issues when we have ice on the roof, snow. It's damming up that water and it's backing up down those nail holes.
I saw the inside.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize the expenditure of not to exceed $10,000 for contracting with Newman Roofing to repair the section of roof as outlined by the superintendent.
Second, vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is I would like the approval to purchase from the ARP funds, the speed, well, the post hardware and signs for the radar signs we ordered at the last meeting. The cost of $2,942.
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second, vote.
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you. No parking. I'd like to ask the board to adopt a no parking resolution for the streets in.
You want me to read? I was gonna say, I've got it in my hand if you want.
That'd be great.
There's actually three parts to this because this is being done under the limited home rule. So the first would be a motion to enact regulations for parking of vehicles on designated streets and right-of-ways in Perry Township, Franklin County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. The streets would be Phase 1 of Epcon, Courtyard Landing, Scioto Bluff Avenue, Scioto Highland Road, River House Road, Waterbag Street, Deer Cliff Road.
I so move.
Second, vote.
Yes.
yes,
The second part of this is a motion to waive the second reading of the resolution and authorize adoption on the first meeting in the motion. On the first reading of the,
I so move.
Second, vote.
yes,
and the last part is a motion to adopt the resolution as an emergency measure.
I so move.
Second, vote.
yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The last item I have is an update from the county. The county reached out this week. They are planning a shared use path along Stauffer Road, basically extending from the crosswalk up to the railroad tracks along Stauffer Road. 600 feet. What are you talking about?
Oh, the bike paths?
Yeah, it's a shared use walking path, bike path. It looks like it's gonna be asphalt from the plans they sent over, 8 foot wide. I don't have a time frame or anything on that.
This year.
Is it this year?
So this is a gift from the county engineer's office. This was to be phase 2 of the crosswalk project.
The safe routes to school.
The safe routes.
Safe route. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
So the only thing, they have plenty of right of way, Brad told me at lunch, and now they have the money. And the county engineer is big on connections and pathways and walkways. And since they have the money and they have the political will, they're looking at a handful of projects, and ours is one of them, and they want to do it this year. They have no problems with utilities, they said. They did say something about trees on one property, they may have to work around or do something with.
It's pretty open down there, and the trees, I believe they're talking about, we are clearing them back quite often to the side distance there. It's not for place. So it'll be good to have them move back even further.
That's great news for this area, especially with the change now that Perry Middle is back open as, you know, the official middle school for the area. There will be a lot more walkers coming across from outside Perry and then of course within Perry. So it's fantastic.
Yes, I'm sure we'll have to do a ribbon cutting event. For the county engineer.
What was
You
that? Are we gonna owe them a favor now? Is that what you said?
Well, he likes to get his picture, so.
He can have the picture.
We'll take a bunch of pictures, so.
That's all I have tonight.
If it's okay, I just want to add one more thing. The discussion had come up about options with the road levies. In your email, and I don't think I printed it out, but in everyone's email, I did get some feedback from the clerk over the Franklin County Auditor site and options. So I just want to make sure everyone knew that that was available now. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Hey, Beth, just one clarification. When you said the current two levies are 64, is that each? So together they're 129.54
In total, it was $64 and something.
for both,
For both.
Right,
Both combined or per?
per
combined,
1.5
Okay.
combined. Okay.
combined 60, whatever it was, $64 and change, I
Yeah.
think.
So it looks like, Andy, the new options are a smudge more. I heard the word smudge.
Smidge.
I think smidge would be.
Smidge.
You have to
Smidge.
come from Maine to know these words, okay? They're fancy words, but.
And
Schmidt.
is that allowing and no longer receiving the 10 and 2.5% high rollbacks? Is that the
Correct.
reason?
Right, because back in 2014, they stopped those. So as soon as you create a new levy or new levies, the tax rollback immediately goes away.
Can we, you have this in a spreadsheet?
Yeah, it was attached to the
Oh, was it
email, I
attached?
think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It should be attached to your email. Carrie broke
Is
it.
that where you got the generation of revenue?
Correct.
from? Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that this is going to be an ongoing topic of consideration. I'll be the first to admit that I didn't have a lot of time to look at it before tonight's meeting. Could we plan to talk about it at our next meeting?
Sure. I'll just add it as old business to the agenda if that's okay until, yeah.
Before we move on from road, I had one other question for Ian, but I don't want to short this subject if we're not done.
No, I was just letting you know the information was there, that's all.
Oh. About Ian, last Monday, I sent an email in response about the sidewalk project and mentioning the that the Brookside PTO had shared a survey from the county related to safe routes to school, trying to get input from the community. And I don't know, actually, Ian and Beth, is that something we are sending out to our residents or?
I don't know much about that. I have a feeling of Ronnie Nibbs that's handling the Safe Routes to School grant, as was probably working with the school on that and arranged that survey to go out.
I think that's early, when we had that last conversation, I think that was the intent, but we can double check on it, Michelle.
Well, I know, I mean, we posted a link in our neighborhood Facebook group to try to get more folks to respond. I just know that we don't all have the same, the school distribution is going to be just the PTO. So there may be value to us sharing it through RE Blast as well to Brookside.
That application for Safe Routes to School was turned in Friday last week.
Okay.
Yeah, she reached out to me right after we got the letter on the township stimulus grant that they were pursuing the Safe Routes to School grant. I sent in a letter of approval or support showing that, we are aware we've had a lot of residents request sidewalks in Brookside, and the township would support a sidewalk at Brookside Elementary and Worthington Hills Elementary. They were, the application was, I think, 3 different schools listed that the county was applying for.
So what you're saying is the grant package was already submitted last Friday
It was submitted
to
Friday
ODOT for Safe Routes to Schools program.
for the Safe Routes to School. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to, okay. I
So
should have
then
followed
get-
up on the email sooner, I guess. The forms are still active. The survey is still active. So I don't know, maybe they're,
I hadn't heard anything about a survey, but I know there was also a letter, a support letter from the school included in the application. Is it Gallon? I can't remember her name.
yeah, it looks like the survey was sent out or posted on February 28th, the day that I sent you the email.
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything about.
So I'm
this.
not sure if perhaps there's more time to collect data on that. I'll follow up with the school and find out.
I think
How about we call the county engineer tomorrow
that's fine.
and say, catch us up where we are, and if there is additional information that can't be submitted, I don't know that that's possible, but let's look into it.
Well, I don't know if that, like the survey, if they were attaching those results
To the package.
to the package.
But I thought we were in the Safe Routes to Schools program that we were working with.
We're working with Ronnie Nims. She's from the county. She's their, I don't know, I can't remember.
She took over for, what's his name? I'm her and
Barbara
Barbara Cox.
Cox took over for, who did we used to?
I see his
Ted
face.
Bigler.
Yeah, there you go.
And I think this Ronnie Nims is helping out
Yeah.
on the grants quite a bit.
Okay.
I know when she reached out to me Tuesday, she was in a hurry for that support letter so she could get everything together for the Safe Routes to School grant.
Well, Michelle, we'll reach out and we'll get back with you tomorrow.
Oh, okay, great, thanks. Yeah, it does look like it was, the notification to the school was sent out by Ronnie.
Okay.
Anything else under road department?
That's it.
Fire and EMS?
There's a report in your Dropbox from Upper Arlington, I believe.
The runs.
Right,
Yeah.
the fire and EMS runs.
Anything else under fire and EMS other than the report that we all have from UA? Police.
Chief Cicero had a family situation to take care of tonight. He has nothing on his agenda.
Madam Administrator.
Let's see, under old business, we have no updates on the Linworth improvements that I know of. Chet, have you heard anything more
I'm sorry. say
on
again.
Linworth? The
Uh,
improvements that area? Okay, Andy and Joe, do you have anything to add on facilities?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
So the only question I have is, who's leading the charge on Jim's request of this other option?
Well, I have the letter of engagement on my agenda, on the new business for my agenda. I believe that was the starting point.
That's for protecting ingress and egress here, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
part.
that's right.
Right.
That's right, yeah.
Are you Andy, are you asking about the legal opinion in the letter? Or are you talking about the other part about?
No, just forget it. Don't worry about it. We'll just take care of the ingress egress.
Okay.
I'm just leaving the Rumpke contract just under old business for now until we start, go through the whole process of y'all getting updated information on a cost of extending and so on and so forth. I did want to say that Luke has taken an older survey that we did and sent out to all the residents in regards to trash and recycling and yard waste. He's made some updates to it, and probably sometime tomorrow, I'm going to go through those with him, and then he'll send all the questions out to the elected and department heads as well, just to see if there's any additional feedback you'd like to see added to that survey. I'd like to try and get that out in the next couple weeks, because by April, we'll start having conversations with the reps over at Rumpke, see where they are with things, and give the board plenty of time to make whatever decisions you may need to make. So on that note, I do have in your box today, I'm sorry you didn't get it until today, but I just got it today. The engagement letter with Voorhees, Sater, Seymour MPs. This is with their attorney, and I just totally lost his name.
Joe Miller.
Joe Miller. Lists the terms and conditions of engaging his services. And I would like to have a motion to accept the letter of engagement and at the same time authorize township administrator to sign. Look up to the last page probably is what you're going to be wanting.
There's no retainer for this, is there?
I just saw the hourly.
This is
rates.
outreach. She's asking to look at the hourly rate.
Let's see that.
Beth had a heart attack earlier. He is the best in town, but he comes at a price.
Well, this is something I think, as Chet likes to say, in our toolbox if we need it. I don't know to what extent we are going to need, to use him. We can certainly control what we need, but I would at least like to have him retained. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to, it's going to be determined, I suppose, as to what we need to use him for. And I think because of the hourly rate that we, it needs to be a joint decision of the board as to when we use him and what we use him for.
So and I guess the question I have is, we had talked about having this letter sent, have it reviewed and sent. Is that the first engagement of this letter? I mean, I'm okay crafting, getting us crafted and then letting Joe kind of look at it and say, but do we send it, or does Voorhees send it?
I think we send it. Quite honestly, I don't think we need him to review this letter. There's no magic in this. I mean, I think this letter is stating our position, which is we need ingress, egress. I don't think it necessarily needs to come from Voorhees at this point. I think it needs to come from us But I just don't think we need to pay somebody an hourly rate to review what is really a pretty simple letter.
Say that, Jim?
What's that?
Doesn't that go against your, the oath you take as an attorney?
No, in all seriousness, I just don't think this is that sophisticated of a letter.
We may need it for bigger things.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, I just want to use him judiciously, and I just don't think it's worth it to even open the door with this letter.
Okay.
We'll use them as we see fit. So with that, I would make a motion, or you want to make that we retain Mr. Miller of Voorhees in the event that we need him regarding ingress egress of our current site.
Second,
Vote.
yes.
Yes.
And authorize Beth to sign.
And authorize Beth to sign off on that engagement
All
letter.
right. Okay.
So to that point, I mean, are we going to direct him? At what point would we direct Joe Miller to look at that entrance and exit and to say, do we have a case or not?
I think we need to see what Dublin's response is to our
Okay.
letter.
Okay.
Okay. So I believe, Andy, you said you had a couple more suggestions for me to add to that.
Yeah, I sent you, disregard my first one. It's the second one. It should be a Word document that I sent you.
Okay. And then I'll clean that up and have one more review, and then I can get that out for everyone. Okay. Let's see. Probably the next thing is I just want to let everyone know that Luke, our PIO and records clerk, is going on vacation with his family. He leaves this Friday. He'll be gone all of the following week, and then we'll be returning after that. So I think we have fallback to any potential records requests that will be coming in, specifically, especially the crash reports and that sort of thing, which we get, the police department gets routinely. And I think that was it, unless you have any questions for me.
So we have a bill for Mike Plus
Coming.
that is over your amount. What is your amount again?
5,000.
And the bill is more than 7.
That's what I don't have an exact amount. He did say it was over 7,000.
I know things are getting more expensive, and I'm just wondering if we should not up your allowance to pay bills, expenses beyond the 5,000. We can legally do that. The board can set that, right?
Correct.
Andy, what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, Mike's contract, I mean, are we running into this issue a lot outside of just Mike's contract? I mean, to be honest with you, I'd like to review Mike's I'd like to have that and approved. So, but again, that's specific to Mike. What are we running into any other issues?
Well, I think we're running into the purchases of equipment and things like that are not major investments, but it seems to be getting over the 5,000 figure a lot. So
Why don't we see what other townships do?
Okay.
okay,
I just like to
that's fair too.
Sure.
get a little figure on the pulse of that kind of thing, just to see what other townships who have township administrators, what kind of authority they have.
No rush on it. I mean, I just,
Yeah, there's no rush on it.
okay.
So Mike was just wondering, Andy, how to handle it. So I'll just have him go ahead and.
Well, I'm going to tell Mike because right now, the drawings, he shouldn't be doing any work. And especially with, because it's being priced right now, the stuff that we've done. So in light of Friday, I'm gonna just tell him that, just to put pencils down until we get pricing back. But he really shouldn't be working on anything that I'm aware of.
I think the gist that I got was that it was work he's done
Yeah,
before.
yeah, I'm
So
sure
it's
it is.
it's just that one. So do you want me to just have him submit a total invoice and then bring it to the board then? Okay.
Yeah, please.
Sure.
Anything else under administrator? Fiscal officer,
Request a motion for approval of payroll and disbursements.
make that motion,
Second,
vote,
Yes,
And then also in your information is the annual appropriations. I'd request a motion for approval of those as listed.
make that
I'll make-
motion,
second,
vote,
yes.
yeah. Anything else under fiscal officer? Anything else? I'm sorry.
No, I said no.
Okay. Anything else before we adjourn?
we didn't help your record.
What's that?
We didn't help your record. I'm
Oh.
sorry about that. You can go against Andy's record if you wanted to.
Hearing none, I vote to adjourn the fastest meeting of 2022. Vote. Yeah.
Yes,
Good night, everybody.
begrudgingly, yes.
Good night.
With a guest speaker and everything.
We'll just have to keep Andy on quarantine. Meetings will go faster. Oh, I guess